All right. So a warm welcome to those of you who are listening into this and the viewers, and warm welcome to you, Brandon. Very
Hi,
happy
Dan.
to have you on today. Finally,
Thank you.
we're doing the interview.
Yes, we made it.
We made it. Yeah. So I'm excited about speaking with you today on your business development journey. And I have lots of questions, but maybe we should start off with you introducing yourself first.
Okay.
Who are
I
you
appreciate
and what
it,
do you do?
Dan. I'm Brandon, and I have two businesses basically. I am a fractional CFO for companies, which means small businesses who don't need a full-time CFO or chief financial officer. I go to them on a part-time basis. So I may have one day a week, one day a month. It just varies on what they need. And it's where I work with I kind of fill a gap between the owner of the company or the CEO and the accounting group, handle a lot of the banking and forecasting and projections and negotiations for the small business owners. And then the other part of my business is forensic accounting, expert witness type work. I am called the Fraud Broad. That is the name of.
Actually, this is the first time I hear that.
Oh, really? You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Okay, yeah. In fact, I do presentations on preventing fraud and like for civic groups and different groups locally. And I introduce myself as the Fraud Broad, and then when I see people later on, I walk into a room and they say, "There's the Fraud Broad," so it really actually worked for branding.
It's a great thing. Catchy.
Yes, I don't use it as an expert witness, but because I don't think it's appropriate then. But so I'm a certified fraud examiner, and I work on forensic cases. Involving embezzlements are my favorite to work on with attorneys. And then I do a lot with business. I call it a business breakup, where partners are breaking up and they don't trust each other and where the money went and how they're going to split things up. I help a lot of attorneys with that. And then divorce cases, of course, bankruptcies, all kinds of cases that involve fraud or forensic accounting.
So there's quite a lot of things that you're doing then, like different business lines and different types of business within those business lines, or at least the forensic expert side of things.
Right. I'm not your typical traditional CPA.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's great, and we'll dive into all of that very shortly. But one question that also comes to mind is obviously how did you and I get in touch, and what made you interested in us working together? What were you hoping to get out of it?
Okay.
A lot of questions there, but you can summarize.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I stay really busy, which I'm sure most people do. I'm not an exception. I'm a single mom, and then I have my businesses. So I'm just not good at marketing and selling my services. I've gotten a lot better over the years at valuing it better and understanding my value and pricing it. But as far as selling it, especially the forensic accounting piece, I'm just not good at that. And I don't take the time I should to market it. So when you introduced yourself to me, it was a relief because it was somebody focused in that area who could guide me and also give me some structure, because I need structure and I need to be held accountable to do these things. And I've always wanted to eventually just have a forensic accounting fraud prevention business. I like doing the fractional CFO work. It's always there, but my passion is detecting and preventing fraud and the forensic accounting piece. So it was just a relief to know somebody targeting that area that could help me understand how to market it without being a pushy salesperson, because I just not. And, you know, how to look at it and how to be structured somewhat in following up and being held account, that you would hold me accountable to help me to do this and to market that business, to build that business. So yeah, that's why I was very interested in your program.
Yeah, and I think that's a, you know, great description, and you know, you and I spoke about that early on. Obviously, the interest in doing this, focusing on business development marketing, but doing it without becoming pushy or needy.
Right.
And you know, that's an art in itself that we
Yes.
spent time on later on in our work. But things really did move. You know, they moved quickly for you. I can't recall now off the top of my head, you know, when we started working together, but it was probably, you know, a month or two before you really started like focusing on things and applying it. But once you did, things happened really quickly. You know, I recall you mentioning there were like, well, I'll let you tell the story, but there were like multiple cases coming in, multiple new opportunities and so on. So could you tell me a bit about that?
I already had some cases. Well, I had one case that was referred to me from an attorney to another attorney, that involved owner of a company. He's 100% shareholder, and his wife was the CFO. And they were getting a divorce, and she had embezzled, and so I was actually working with a divorce attorney on that case. And so I had that case going, but didn't have much else. And I decided to send out, after talking with you, and, you know, the best approach to send out a targeted email to any attorneys, that one included, and any attorneys I've worked with already. And just remind them that I'm out there, remind them what I do, what type, and in it, I think one thing that helped is I mentioned the types of cases I can work on. And I also included in that attorney's partners in it, and her paralegals, and everybody. Sometimes the paralegals are the best ones to get to. And then I included an attorney that I had recently been referred to on a bankruptcy case, and they hadn't decided yet. You know, they hadn't engaged me yet, so I included her, and then I included other ones who had referred me and other ones I've worked with before. And it wasn't a huge list, but anyway, I sent a targeted email explaining that I'm still out there, what I do, what types of cases I've worked on recently, you know, that sort of thing, just to remind them. I sent that 1 week, and the next week or two, I now have 5 cases. So I'm really slammed right now, because I'm at my CFO clients during the day, and then I'm working on these cases at night, and then, you know, and then being subpoenaed to court. And so it was just, I think one advantage I have is being part of this. I'm part of a group called Next Gen CFO, and we market ourselves together in groups, in the group, with bankers, lawyers, CPAs, you know, trusted advisors. And so I already have quite a big network. And I've met some of these attorneys through that, some I've met on my own, but I already know how to network, and you know, some people know me in the local area. So I think that helped me too. But sending that one email, I haven't sent another one yet. I know I'm supposed to continue doing that, but I can't take any work right now. So, so yeah, it was, you know, just talking to you and figuring out how to phrase it where it's not a pushy thing really helped me a lot. And I think it came across as, hey, I'm an expert out here who can help you. And I think it's a relief to attorneys, but you got to stay on their radar.
Yeah, absolutely. And these were existing contacts, right? Not so much new contacts.
No, it wasn't like a cold call to new ones. No.
Yeah.
I know I eventually may do that, but not yet.
Exactly, yeah. And we've obviously covered strategies for expanding
Yes.
your network in an effective way and so on, but this is, I think it's just testament to how top of mind works. Like
Yes.
we see that time and time again with our clients, that if they have an existing network of clients and referral parties, very often you will sort of lean back a little bit and rely on them reaching out to you when the need arises. But even if it's someone that you work with multiple times, sometimes they just don't connect the dots,
They don't.
or you don't
Yeah.
get it in time. And just a simple email, obviously you phrased it really well, but just an email, it can generate immediate business.
Right.
And that was the case here. It's fantastic, fantastic results to have like 5 cases that you're working on the back of that.
Yeah, I mean, and one of them was that new attorney that I haven't worked with before on the bankruptcy. I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
I ended up getting that case. So
that's
yeah,
great. Really excellent.
yes, that was awesome.
So and then then obviously now the challenge that you went for being like pretty busy already, predominantly with your fractional CFO work.
Right.
You made this push and you got a lot of new cases, several
Yes.
opportunities on the back of it. So the challenge is to keep that up in a way so as to not having to decline business.
Exactly.
But there's obviously ways for doing that too, that continuous top of mind strategy. But you and I talked about that a lot, that you can't take your foot off the gas, because then you're going to end up
Yes,
with ebbs and flows, right?
that's right. Exactly. Yes. So
And
I'll probably do another one, in about a month. I'll
yeah,
probably do another targeted email and add to that list.
yeah, I think that's a great idea. And
Yes.
what made you, going back to that original comment about it taking a little bit of time for you to get ready, and then obviously you started acting and saw results on the back of that. uh, do you feel like you're now able to put more emphasis and focus on business development on the back of these results that you've been seeing? Is it
Oh
easier?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel much more confident about it. And
yeah.
I was actually really happy with how I worded the email. I mean, it was like, well, this wasn't nearly as hard as I thought once I started writing it and thinking about it, not in a sales way, but just kind of, hey, I'm here to help y'all if you need it. Um, I really like the way it turned out. And so I think I have more confidence or more motivation to do it now. And
Yeah,
especially because of the results.
exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
most people don't find business development all that much fun
Right.
until they start doing well. That's really
Yes.
when it becomes fun. But you need to, like, at least most people need some time to get to the point of seeing results, but you got
Yes.
results very quickly. But I think that's also going to make it easier for you once you start approaching new potential clients. Then
Right.
you already have a roster of existing clients that you're working with, and you're getting business from them.
Yes. Definitely.
And another question I'm just thinking of, um, do you think that there's much of a difference by way of how you approach business development for your fractional CFO business, and your expert side of the business, and the forensic work?
I do, only because I'm in a group with
Mm,
Next Gen CFO. So I don't really have to worry about business development there, because we do a lot of lunch and learns, like I was saying, as a group, and it's much easier to get in with um, professionals, like I call them trusted advisors to
mm,
clients, as a group than it is as an individual.
yeah,
That's what I have found. And so I don't really have to think much about it in that regard. And there's just so much work, even just locally out there for fractional CFOs.
mm,
And I think that's why, and I mean, we mention in the fractional CFO that I'm a forensic accountant and can do that work too. And so I always, even when we go market ourselves as fractional CFOs, I always also mention what I do from the forensic standpoint. But as far as targeting and marketing for the forensic accounting and fraud examination business, I think the challenge for me, at least, was targeting attorneys, because attorneys are a different animal.
Yeah.
And
They're
I don't
still
mean
like,
that in a negative way, but they get really tunnel vision on their cases and don't think about everything else for a while, which I understand because they have to concentrate on it. But they're not thinking ahead about, I need an expert witness for this case or this case or this case, a lot of times, because they're so focused on what they're doing at the moment. And I just didn't know how to really approach them and stay on their radar. I mean, some people have said, why don't you join the bar? Why don't you go speak at one? But again, are they really going to remember me? I really need more of a close relationship with them. So I think that your program helped me understand how to target and get on their radar. Does that make sense?
yeah,
But it is a different approach than my fractional CFO. I mean, the one thing that's common is LinkedIn. I have, both on LinkedIn. I describe what I do, and I have all the different contacts and networking on LinkedIn for both businesses. So that's a common denominator.
yeah.
But
That's kind of what I'm
otherwise,
thinking of.
yeah,
Like if you were to start off from scratch today without the access to the network on the fractional CFO business, then it would probably be the same type of approach, because you're still
yes,
going to be interacting with human beings on the other end, and they're going to
right.
care about your visibility and your experience and the relationships that you have. It's almost
Yes.
like a leading question here, but but yeah.
No, I agree. And I mean, LinkedIn kind of gives you a lot of that credibility because they see who you're connected to. And I had already done, before I joined you, the year before, I think, when during the pandemic, when everybody had to stay in and work from home, I got a little worried with school. Is my daughter going to ever go back to school? Am I going to have to work remotely most of the time? And so I did hire a group that did like a LinkedIn campaign for me, and I, built up my network on LinkedIn, and I definitely think that helps too.
Absolutely.
To get a lot of new contacts that are not local, that don't already know me.
Yeah.
And that's worth doing as well, I think.
Absolutely.
Because I'll probably go through that, as I expand these targeted emails, the list of people, I'm gonna go through some of my LinkedIn networking and do it through that. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. The starting point is always our existing relationships, because that's where we can gain the most amount of leverage. We can get business quicker, but then we never really know what will happen, what's around the corners. It's always good to cultivate new contacts. You have a healthy LinkedIn network, and the trick here is just to figure out how to connect with new people, but also cultivate those contacts so that we're able to get to know them. That's usually where most like programs or marketing people fail, because they will help you with the first part. Like, here's how you connect with a lot of people on LinkedIn, but then what?
Exactly. And I will say the group that did it for me, that they got me the contacts and that, but then there wasn't much after that, as far as how to cultivate it. I agree.
Yeah. Well, there's plenty of that for us to focus on in the program. In our system.
That's right. Exactly.
That's great. That's great, Brandon.
Thank you.
And well, my pleasure. It's been, not that we're quite done yet, but it's been a fantastic, that I've enjoyed working with you, and it's so great to see results and see quick results. So
yeah, and one thing I would say too that I've enjoyed working with you is, I get kind of irritated with myself sometimes about, well, you didn't spend time doing this or that, and you need to set aside time. And I need to go through the milestones and I need to do some more work before I talk to Dan. But then we would talk and we'd talk about what I had done, and you put it in a positive way. You didn't make it wasn't like, Brandon, you're not doing the work. Brandon, you're not, which wouldn't have, which I just would have felt more defeated, I think.
Yeah.
So you hold me accountable, but in a very positive way. And that's more encouraging. And I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks for the feedback. And I do think that's the best way of, getting results. And it's hard to complain when you're getting 5 cases out of one email too. So
that's true. But I'm harder on myself than I am on anybody else.
It's good. It's good. We need to set the bar high, and we need to step outside of our comfort zone to continuously move forward.
Right.
And I guess, another question that I would have, and this sort of goes back to the expert side of things. Most of the experts that we end up speaking with rely on panels and directories, agencies, different types of like referral organizations and companies for their cases. But what tends to happen is they rarely get any cases or enough cases to be fully busy with it. But still, they persist going down that route, like try to find more platforms, try to find more directories and so on. But clearly you're not even on any of these platforms and you're getting business. So it is possible, right? I don't know where my question was there, but it's more a statement.
I've never even thought about doing that, the agencies and directories and stuff. It just seems so impersonal, I guess, and kind of an easy way out. I just feel like I can do a much better job if I have a relationship of some kind. Yeah. And I feel like I just build more and more rapport and credibility to where they want to work with me. It's not just, I got to find an expert. I got to find they really look forward to working with me. And that, I don't know. I just do better in that realm. I mean, I guess there could come a point in time where I think, like you said, when you're starting out and you have no network, I can understand why people would turn to that. But I just haven't. And thankfully I haven't needed to, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I think you really nailed it with that comment about relationships, because that's the one that I always sort of come back to, that not only are you probably able to deliver a better service, but when you own the relationship, that's also better for your business, because if someone else refers you cases, then they own the relationship, and they could, that relationship could go away and you wouldn't be able to do anything about it. So I think it's just future proofing your business, essentially. That's what you're doing.
Yes.
And
the only time I would even think about doing something like that would be for more remote work, which I wouldn't mind having, so I can travel and do this work. But I have LinkedIn for that, so I don't know why I would need a directory. That's just kind of the way I think of it.
And I guess my view is that I'm not against getting business like that at all. If you're getting business from those sources, fantastic. But I would always try to get direct business if I could, for the reasons that we talked about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Another question, penultimate one. I have one more.
Okay.
but so this one is just thinking of like location and so on. And this I think is quite interesting. And it'll be a leading question again. But sometimes when I speak with people, they will ask me, I'm based in New York, or I'm in Los Angeles, or I'm in Berlin. Will this work for me? Or it will be, I'm a intellectual property expert, or I'm a mediator, or I'm focused on forensic accounting. Like, will this work for me? And my answer is always yes, of course, because it's other people that you're facing on the other end. So it's so what's your view on that? Like, how would you
Yeah, I think I asked you that up front too.
Yeah,
Have you worked with any forensic accountants, you know?
yeah. And
But yeah, it
now,
really doesn't matter what your expertise is in. We're all needed.
yeah.
So I don't think that limits us at all. And then the location, I mean, there's so much, everybody's working so virtually now that I think we have more opportunity now.
Mm,
It doesn't matter where you are. Unless you have to go into court, I guess would
yeah,
be the only thing. You know, the only thing I think about was like, I'm in North Carolina. I'm sure people can tell by my accent.
fantastic.
Um, Thank you. You know, if I'm talking to an attorney in New York, sometimes, you know, they may not like the Southern accent or something like that, but
Mm,
there's nothing I mean, that's out of my control. So I don't really worry about it. Um, but I don't think we're restricted by our niche or by location, especially these days. I really
mm.
don't.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I mean,
thank you
I've
for
been
that.
on your calls before, and you know, there've been different types of experts. So I think we can all learn from each other too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. The
Yeah.
group calls that we're doing, I find personally like super helpful. And whenever I
Yes.
ask someone, it's usually, they share that view that just getting a peek into what other people are doing and what challenges they face and what
Right.
successes they have and how those come about.
Yes.
E-
Definitely.
Excellent. Okay, well, we're sort of getting towards the end of our conversation, but final question would be, what for you, what has been the biggest takeaways, the most positive things of working together with performance laws and me?
Um, I think the biggest takeaway specifically would be the targeted emailing and just reaching out more and making sure I stay on the radar,
Mm,
explaining what I do and what I can do, and how to do that now in a non-salesy way.
mm,
That's my biggest takeaway. And then just sticking with it. You know, like you've said, maybe spend 30 minutes a week sometimes working on it. And you just got to put some time into it. And now I kind of like doing it because I got results.
yeah, yeah, that's how it
Whereas
goes.
before it was like, oh, I got to get to this too. I got to do that. You know, now I actually kind of like doing it. And yeah, I've never liked doing it before we started working together. So that's probably the biggest takeaway for me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, thanks so
Yeah.
much for
Yeah.
sharing and this is not goodbye for us because you're
Right.
still part of the group, but at least it's thank you for today, and it's been fantastic working with you, Brandon. I've really enjoyed it.
Same with you, Dan. Thank you so much. You have a great program. And I just love your positivity.
Thank you. We'll be in touch soon.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye bye now.
Bye.